Greetings, sports fans. Welcome back to A Division, the channel where we look at sports differently. Now, today we'll be taking a look at the JPL. Brand new season, the 2022-23 season is upon us. And we have a very special guest. JPL champion, Ludlow Bernard, the coach of Harbour FC, is here with us. Welcome, coach.
So,
Yes.
coach, how are you doing?
I'm not too bad, giving God thanks, alive, and really glad to be able to around to try and work with the players. Yeah, I don't think I could have asked some more, I really consider myself to be very lucky to be in this position, I know there are some other coaches who would have been in this similar position, but I think for me it's a first whereby this kind of achievement is being done in the same year, so I really feel very, very privileged about it.
How prepared are you for the new season?
Yeah, well, we got off to a start on around the 13th of September, we managed to retain all of our players, and we would have added a couple others, there are two players, however, who have not returned to training since the day of finals, and we probably hope that they will return by when the league resumes again in December after the World Cup break, But preparations have been going pretty steady. I've played a couple practice games, looking at different combinations and trying to see if we can build a rhythm and a momentum going into the season. So it has been hard work. The boys have trained very well. I'm really looking forward to the season right now.
You barely made the playoffs last year. What are you planning to do differently to finish higher?
Well, if you looked at the content of my squad last season, it was a very young one, and and it has been that way for the past two seasons. And deliberately, we want to build these youngsters. We have got a lot of requests of players out there, but I believe in development. I consider myself a developmental coach, and I will spend the time with the younger players. Of course, there's a mixture of some senior experienced players, but in essence, it's a young team, and we plan to keep them together for another run. I think we are well served in all departments: left back, right back, centre back, midfield. We maybe wanted in the centre forward position because, as you realize, it's only Colorado Murray is on the roster, and we'd really love to have another one. We weren't able to get that player in the window, but we were able to acquire number 10 in Demar Rose from Portmore, a player who I would have worked with before at Wilmer's Boys School between 2010 and 2013, 2014. So he's the only outfield player addition. I would have included two goalkeepers because last season we found ourselves in a very precarious position because Amal Knight being on international duties and young Anthony Bennett, there was always the ever possibility that he would have been part of the U20. And it was a disaster waiting to happen. Fortunately for us, he wasn't selected. Unfortunately for the national program, he wasn't selected. So we had him for the season, for the remainder of the season, at a critical point when Knight was on international duties and also suffering from COVID at the time. So we made a point this year that we wanted to ensure that we had adequate backup. So I went for two young keepers, David Martin, who was with me at Kingston College and won the Manning Cup and the Oliver Shield, and also another player, Romario Palmer. He's from Central Kingston. So we would have bolstered the goalkeeping department. But throughout the course of the preparations, when I look in all quarters, I think we are well served.
You spoke about Amal Knight. Are you looking to keep him this year? A lot of offers might be coming in from clubs overseas.
Well, where Amal is concerned, I have to be prepared for the worst, it is good that young Bennett it is good that young Bennett is coming to the fore and has really established himself as a Premier League keeper. So he's a suitable and able backup, right? But you know how it is at Harbour Football Club already. We always try to encourage overseas the players taking up overseas opportunities, you know. And I'm pretty sure that by the end of the season we'll be losing players. I'm almost sure of that already.
Okay. Last season you barely made the playoff. What are you planning to do differently this to finish?
Well, Harbour Football Club has not had the luxury of starting very well in the Premier League over the last 5-6 seasons. I think there was only one occasion in 2019, the 2019-2020 season when we won our first 2 games. But outside of that year, both before and after, we have not been able to start very well. So one of the things that we want to accomplish this year is to get off to a good start, so that we don't have the, you know, we won't have the problems of trying to play catch up, you know, and place ourselves in some positions in which sometimes the luck of the draw may not go your way, you know, because I think we're very fortunate last season. But I think also I must lift my hats off to my coaching staff, because we really did dig deep in terms of ensuring that they maintain focus and confidence right throughout, and even more so the physical trainer, ensuring that they peak at the right time. But this time we really don't want to take any chances. We want to get off to a good start this year. I'm not a fan of the
league format.
No, I am indeed a fan of the league format. Right?
No.
As a matter of fact, I would hasten to tell you that it is because of Harbour Football Club why the league format has been changed to the playoffs and the knockout. Because between 1999 and say coming up to 2011, 2012, Harbour was always the leading team. You know, sometimes there was one season when we would have got pipped by Waterhouse, and Tivoli would have pipped us. I remember in 2010 there was a battle between Portmore, Tivoli, and Harbourview, and we lost the league by 1 point or 2 points at the time. I think Tivoli was the one that they won, and on the last day all 3 teams had a chance to play. But I'm an advocate of the league format, because I think that at the end of the day, you know, you always like to encourage consistency. And you know, coming to think of it, I kind of have a little sympathy for Waterhouse, because they have won the league format over the past 3 years, but I don't know what the story is really, why they couldn't really maintain that form and that consistency going in. I think with the playoff, there is an element of complacency that takes place, you know. So you don't find that you find that once the teams qualify, there is usually a lull in the preparations, you know, because they are idle while other teams are playing. And I think we were very, very fortuitous, you know, to be in that position, you know. So we kept on playing, and I think that momentum was what helped us. But at the end of the day, just like the English Premier League, just like the leagues in Europe, you know, but I can understand why it is done out here. It is done for excitement, because the culture of the league format isn't really that ingrained in our society. You know, our spectators they like the drama, they like the intensity, you know, they like the excitement. So so I could argue that I could probably have positioned myself just to get myself in the top 6 and then go for it from there, you know. But I mean, I can always say that after the fact. But if that is the case, then I just prepare myself to get in the playoff positions. But if that were to happen this season, then I would have to just ensure that we prepare ourselves accordingly for what is to come.
Okay, coach, prediction time. Your top 6 in no particular order.
You really want me to go down that road? No, man, when you do that, you're setting me up, you know. Because I kind of realize that whenever Yeah, when I have opinions like that, I mean, people will come at me, you know. So the best thing I can say, Harbour you in the top six.
Top six.
Yeah, man. I must really do fancy my chances of being in the top six. But on a serious note, though, there are some very good teams. It is going to be very, very difficult. I remember last season, Humble Lion really, you know, coming on in the latter part of the season. You know, Portmore is there. Portmore has not had a good run over the last 2 seasons. You can't count them out. It is highly unlikely that Portmore is going to be idle from the knockout for more than 2 seasons. And of course, you have the usual culprits: Cavalier, Arnett Gardens, Waterhouse.
Yeah.
Now Dunbeholden is in the picture. Mount Pleasant is also there. So it's going to be very, very, very difficult to predict which are the teams that are going to be in there. And as I said before, what we at Harborview will try to do is try and see if we can get off the mark as quickly as possible and position ourselves and hope that we don't end up in a dark fight as it was the last time, because probably this time around we may not be so lucky, you know. But all 14 teams I think are capable. Yes, you may say that some have a little bit more chances, but on the day each team has to play. So I would really avoid, you know, going down the prediction path.
Okay.
Can Harbourview win title number 6 this year?
You see, there's a couple of things where that is concerned. You win a title, you win within a season, and there's always that little beef. Not beef. There's always that little lift, that momentum, that drive, that energy. I mean, last night we played against Waterhouse in a practice game, and I saw something which I wasn't seeing for quite a while. Even throughout the course of the playoffs, you know, I saw a certain level of confidence in the play of the guys, and I know why it happens. That is what championship does, you know. So even when you consider yourself to be or when you think you have an average player, he considers himself to be very good, and he feels that he can do anything on the pitch, you know. And when I saw them playing last night, you know, it was really pleasing to the eye. Them moving the ball quickly, getting around, trying to, you know, put Waterhouse under pressure. And whenever Waterhouse applied pressure at us, we were able to withstand it and stuff, you know. So that is what winning does. But at the same time, we have to be very, very cautious about our expectations, you know, because as I said, there are a number of good teams out there and things. So what our approach will be: one, a game at a time; two, we'll focus on the playoffs first and foremost, to trying to get into those elusive positions 1 through to 6, I think it is. And then once we get there, then we'll definitely go for it for sure. But I don't think it is far fetched, you know. But I think it is all going to be dependent on us as coaches, how we manage the season, how the players maintain their level of motivation throughout, you know, the level of fitness and conditioning, and also we have to be very smart in terms of who we recruit whenever the January window comes around, because that also played very well for us this season when we brought in a couple of players to really change the tide.
We need a lot more fans to come out and support the JPL. If you could talk to the Jamaican public, what would you say?
In terms of the support of the league,
Yeah.
well, I'm looking forward to the day when we can go to any stadium in the country and we can encounter packed crowds. You know, I really want the football culture to grow. I want to see each team having fans. And when I say fans, no, I'm not talking about wagonists. I'm talking about fans. We'll be there thick and thin for the team, win, lose, or draw. Whenever the team is down, you know, you really want to see them cheering them and lifting them. I mean, the atmosphere in the state, in the Sabina Park complex throughout the course of the playoff, in particular the finals, you know, was very, very ecstatic, you know. And of course, one thing that I was very pleased about was that the players, they had their own individual supports from their various communities coming out and supporting. And when you put it all together, you had a very, very big fan base. You know, it makes you wonder if Harbourview really had all of this crowd to begin with. You know, so I want to see the fan base of the teams grow. I want to see the excitement and interest grow. I know what you vloggers do is very important, and one of the things that I would want to encourage you to do is to highlight players in the league, because they are the stars at the end of the day. And of course, if you highlight the stars of the various teams, then people will come out and want to know who is this player and what is it that why the vloggers are going so crazy about him. That is what creates the excitement and the energy around the league.
True,
You know,
true.
I would want also, you see, a little bit more interest being taken in what happens on the training days. You know, there may be an injured player, there may be a new signing, there may be a different formation going into the next game because you lost a game. You know, there may be a little controversy at the team. You know, one of the things that I hate, you see, is we have a game on Sunday and we play the game, win, lose, or draw, we have an interview at the end of the game. Our next game is the following Sunday. And then you're going to ask me, what is it you think about the game coming up next week? I really find that question very, very disgusting, right? Because I think some kind of homework should be done. You come to the ground, see if what is the training is like, and then you can ask relevant questions surrounding whatsoever preparations is there taking place. You come to the training one day, why Trayvon Reed never looks so good in the training, and you wonder if the coach is going to start it. You know, or the team really did look good, and although they lost the previous game, them really look good and them look like them coming to make a difference in the next game. These kind of information can only be had when you pay a little bit more attention to what takes place in the weeks leading, in the days leading up to the games. You know, yeah, I would really want to see a little bit more, or much more reporting as to what takes place, because that in itself builds interest in the league. I mean, I am a Liverpool fan, and I usually consult with the Daily Mirror, with the Daily Mail on a daily basis. So I'm looking for news, and of course I will encounter news not only with Liverpool, but what's happening at Manchester clubs, what's happening at Chelsea, what's happening with Arsenal. You know, there was a bust up in the training. Training the last match, and the training called, the coach called training the Sunday, you know, or in the week, boy, Jesus was scoring some goals and it looked like him have to start the next game. You know, these little things really make a big difference.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah, man. And that will build the game, build the sport, and build the product itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, and of course, the fans get to know the players of the clubs a bit more, you know, because for us out here in Jamaica, we can name the Chelsea lineup, we can name the Arsenal, Liverpool, City, Manchester United. We can name all of these lineups. But when you come in Jamaica now, you can't name the lineup for Harbourview. Yeah, you may know Trayvon Reed, you may know Colorado Murray. But do you know, for one of the lesser known players, do you know, for instance, Romain Brackenbridge? Do you know Timar Lewis? You know, you have to know even the French players in the group. You know, who's the backup goalkeeper? Fortunately for us, we have to recognize and easily recognizable goalkeepers. You know, but you need to know who is the right back that plays at Dunbeholden. Who is he? He's a good kid. You know, who is he? Where is he from? What was his background coming up while playing in the various leagues coming up? These are the kind of information that I would want shared.
Okay, last question. Favorite coach internationally?
All right. There are two coaches that I would have held in high esteem over the years. Back in the day, there was a team called Juventus. Well, there's still a club called Juventus.
Yeah.
I don't know how many persons know, but Juventus used to dominate club football worldwide, right? And He was a coach by the name of, he eventually became the Italian coach. Arrighi Sacchi was his name, right? That was a coach that I, whilst coming up as a young coach, I really, really did admire how he went about his business, you know. And then even more recently now, Jurgen Klopp for me. Not only because I'm a Liverpool person, but I see how he goes about his business, you know. And there are a number of good coaches around now. I mean, I really admire what Mikel Arteta is doing. You know, I'm at pains to tell people, listen, Rome isn't built in a day. So when Arteta comes last season and he loses his first 3 games and everybody's writing out, you're supposed to get fired, this, that, that. You really don't know what is taking place. It's the same thing is happening right now with Eric Ten Hag. He has to go through a period in which he has to assess, reassess, recultivate before he can start producing results. That is what Klopp did, and he did it very, very successfully. And I've been told while at Kingston College that my teams always reflect a Liverpool team, and that is true because I heavily fashion in what he does. I really used to do it at the schoolboy level a lot, you know. But that's a coach that I really admire.
Okay, fans, there you have it. The coach of the defending champions, Harbour, Coach Ludlow Bernard. If you like this interview, please drop a like, comment as usual, and always remember to subscribe.